silence of this institution of the genocide in Gaza. We will stay for around 1 hour. This is a peaceful protest. We will make our voices heard, after which we will leave. Please make a circle. You can come and join us. We're going to sit down. There's going to be some speeches, some energetic chanting, and we're going to repeat our constant demands to this institution to say something over the horrific brutalization of the Palestinian people.
Turner, tell us why.
You say tip on genocide.
Turner, why.
You say tip on genocide.
On Saturday, the 15th of June, at 2 p.m, a group of artists and activists, led by Fan It for Palestine, staged a sit-in at the Turner Contemporary Gallery. We stayed for just over an hour, and in that time there was chanting and a series of incredible speeches. We were privileged to be joined by the artist Larry Achiampong, who had a solo show at the Turner Contemporary in 2022. Larry's presence made this sit-in even more meaningful. It says a lot about the Turner that artists who previously exhibited there are now coming back to protest the gallery. Zarina Mohammed from the White Pube sent in a speech via voice note, which we listened to on a big speaker. It was a great speech. Zarina brilliantly put into words the resentment I think we're all feeling towards these cultural institutions, who refused to speak up during a genocide. The protesters wore t-shirts that said, "Turner, Tracy, Carl, tell us why you've said zip on genocide." This is referring to the Turner Contemporary, Margate's largest art gallery, Tracy Emin, the famous YBA artist, who's also a Margate local, and Carl Friedman, the owner of the Carl Friedman Gallery, none of whom have spoken out about the ongoing genocide in Palestine. At first, I felt mixed feelings about wearing this t-shirt, mainly because I've always looked up to Tracy Emin. As a teenager, she was one of the first contemporary artists I connected with. I even wrote an essay about her in my second year of art school. But I concluded that the fact I admire Tracy Emin's art is besides the point here. The point is that we're 9 months into a genocide and she has chosen to remain silent. So in the end, I did decide to wear the t-shirt. Today's video will focus on Saturday's sit-ins. But if you'd like the context of this video, I recommend watching my previous video called "Why Won't the Turner Contemporary Speak Up on Palestine?" This will give you a little bit more of the backstory and a bit more of the context around the Turner's silence and the ongoing protests. The link to that video is in the top of your screen now. I also recommend you read and sign the open letter that was written to the Turner Contemporary in January, which has now been signed by over 500 artists and cultural workers. The link to that is in the description of this video. Today's video is going to focus on highlighting the powerful speeches and readings from Saturday's sit-in. I have timestamped this video so you can see where each speech starts and finishes. I recommend listening to the whole thing because every speech was both interesting and deeply moving. I really resonated with a line from the spoken word piece "We Would Like to Talk to You" by the Vacuum Cleaner and Cecilia Wee. The passage that really hit me was, "We would like to talk to you about a genocide that's happening right now, and about how your silence is saying so much about who you are, about what you stand for, and about who you serve." Big up Fan It for Palestine. They're doing amazing work, holding Margate's cultural institutions to account. Please follow them on Instagram, and if you can afford to, please consider donating. Okay, that's enough from me. Here are the speeches.
The recent destruction of Gaza has been part of an extended process implemented by Israel that has sought to destroy Palestine's heart, heritage, identity, and soul. Palestine's Minister of Culture, Dr. Attlee Abu Saif, wrote last year, "While fleeing, many artists left behind possessions, memories, musical instruments, and tools that constitute the foundation of their work and livelihood. Among them are musicians who have lost their ability to listen and artists who have lost their hands and limbs. Ancient archaeological sites and artifacts, archives, theatres, interfaith spaces, heavily decorated mosques, a 1,000-year-old church. Countless libraries, museums, exhibition spaces, and education centres have all been bombed directly by Israel. I've read many accounts of precious artworks being used as firewood and communal studio complexes that are now completely decimated. These historic and cultural spaces have been targeted by Israel because they are symbolic. They connect people to their heritage and spirituality, strengthen friendships, ignite hope, are portals for transcendence, and where adults and children can imagine brighter and bigger futures than their conditions allow. Ritual, community, and creativity are part of being human. Eradicating these sites is in itself an act of intentional dehumanization. This is, and always has been, a cultural genocide. Over the last century, despite everything, Palestinian artists have continued to make their work. They've painted beautiful portraits coded with rich meaning, written poetry that has travelled across continents, and most recently, activated vital moments of humour, joy and celebration for hundreds and thousands of displaced and orphaned children in Gaza. Palestinian artists don't want our pity or sympathy. They are calling for us to act with everything we have. We need to start understanding and unpicking anti-Palestinian racism and the silencing of Palestinian artists and their allies here in the UK. And fully credit the rich Palestinian culture we enjoy and consume. This is a start. Silence is not acceptable. As cultural workers, we do not exist in a vacuum. We are connected to Palestine as we are connected to the legacy of empire and colonization. What is culture? What kind of culture are we creating here in Margate? What kind of ecosystems? What kind of echo chambers? What kind of rumours, recipes, what kind of secrets? Will our culture be of resilience, solidarity, unity and creativity taught to us by our fellow artists in Palestine? Or will it be of silence?
Hello, my loves. Dear Turner.
Hello, my loves. Hello. Dear Turner! Can you hear us?
We know that this wasn't part of your plans today, or maybe it was.
Maybe you woke up and thought, you know what I really want? We have some text that we would like to share with you.
We are not going to shout.
But we would like to be heard.
We would like to talk with you.
We would like to talk with you, but not with silence.
We'd like to talk with you in a way that is equitable and accessible.
We would like to talk with you about the table that you sit at.
The table that I sit at.
And the table that I sit at. And the tables blown up by American Hellfire missiles. You know the kind of tables, the ones that families sit around and parents say to their children, what did you do at school today?
We'd like to talk with you so that we can hear what you have to say.
We'd like to talk with you to find out where you are, because we don't know. We can just hear your silence.
We'd like to talk with you so you know where we are.
We'd like to talk with you about your fear of speaking.
We'd like to talk with you about our fear of not speaking.
We'd like to talk with you about what art can do.
We'd like to talk with you about what art is not doing.
We'd like to talk with you about your silence.
We'd like to talk with you about your silence.
We'd like to talk with you about violence.
We'd like to talk with you about the violence of silence.
We would like to talk with about how sometimes we are silent. We aren't perfect, but we can all do better.
Except, James, I'm perfect.
Fair.
We'd like to talk with you about how important it is to say sorry when we should have done better.
We'd like to talk with you about whether you feel sorry. We'd like to talk to you, Turner, about the price of cake in your cafe. Yeah!
We'd like to talk with you about how 300 people, cultural workers and more, have written to you and have asked you not to be silent on the most basic thing, to condemn a genocide. 500 people, sorry, my correction, thank you. 500 people have written to you, and you don't say anything. You don't even say whether you agree with this
or not.
We'd like to talk with you about how ignoring our requests for a public dialogue is actually really rude. We'd like to talk with you about what it is like for people who are always faced with institutional silence.
We'd like to talk with you about how exhausting that is.
We'd like to talk with you about being tired.
We'd like to talk with you about that.
We'd like to talk with you about feeling like you are only interested in what we do when it serves you.
And never being interested when it does not.
We'd like to talk with you about disagreeing.
We'd like to talk with you about talking, because you seem to find it hard.
We'd like to talk with you about what it really means to be an art gallery that is, quote, brave, uncompromising, pushing things forward, accessible, and most of all,
we'd like to talk with you about how utterly unradical it is to say, oh, but it's really complicated. Yeah.
We'd like to talk with you about a genocide that is happening right now, and how your silence is saying so much about who you are and what you stand for and who you serve.
We'd like to talk to you about why selling prints for £3 a pop creates a really exclusive environment. I'd like to talk to you about the price of cake in your cafe.
We'd like to talk with you about children.
We would like to talk to you about children.
We'd like to talk with you about children.
All 14,000 and more of them.
We'd like to talk with you about their names.
Ahmed, who will never see his first birthday.
Aisha, who never saw her first birthday.
Amal, who never saw her first birthday.
Amir, who never saw his first birthday. We'd like to talk with you about how, before this, a 17-year-old in Gaza had already lived through 4 wars.
We'd like to talk to you about children having the right to make art.
We'd like to talk with you about children having the right to life.
Yes. We would like to talk to you about marking every 15 minutes for the last 8 months. The time it takes for a child to be murdered by one of the most advanced militaries in the world. For what? For what? We'd like to talk to you about how right now we all are in so much pain and grief.
Yes. And grief. And rage.
And rage. And loss.
And I want to be able to hold others and be held in this.
We want to talk to you about how you have a role as a major cultural institution to hold us and soothe us and be with us in our rage.
And grief.
And grief. And disbelief.
And disbelief.
And grief. And grief.
And disbelief. We want to talk to you about why you are so frightened of putting a massive sign at your door that says, "The killing of children by one of the most advanced militaries in the world is not in our name."
Yes.
We will always defend and welcome not just Palestinian artists, but all Palestinians.
Yes.
We want to talk to you about how I can't believe that this is happening. This is happening. Why is this happening? This should not be happening. I don't want this to happen. We cannot let this happen. But this is happening.
This is happening. We'd like to talk with you about the fact that this is happening.
We would like to talk with you about the fact that this is happening.
We'd like to talk with you about that.
We would like to talk with you about your funding.
We'd like to talk with you about living up to your BLM statement.
Yes.
We would like to talk with you about projecting Ukrainian flags on your building.
Yeah.
We would like to talk with you about projecting anything, something on your building right now.
Yes.
We'd like to talk with you about your silence.
We would like to talk with you about your silence.
We'd like to talk with you about finding courage.
We would like to talk with you about our specific role as British people and British institutions and the responsibility we all bear for this happening.
We'd like to talk with you about how your silence is saying so much. We'd like to talk with you about how we aren't going away.
We'd like to talk with you about the damage you are doing by ignoring us.
We'd like to talk with you.
We'd just like to talk with you.
We'd like to talk with you about the more than 37,000
Loving,
caring,
messy,
complicated,
beautiful people
whose voices can never be heard again.
We'd like to talk with you about ending your silence.
Yes.
I now have the privilege of reading a piece of text that details the lived experience of a local artist who is from the West Bank. These are her words in my voice. Here I am among you now. My name is a human from the West Bank in Palestine. I have lived through years of oppression and military occupation under the shadow of the separation wall and the checkpoints that have stifled my dreams and hopes. Our days begin with the sound of birds singing, but soon this sound is replaced by the noise of soldiers and the cries of mothers. Military checkpoints are an integral part of our daily lives. We stand in long lines, suffering through searches and humiliation. The separation wall runs beside our home, a massive grey barrier standing like a silent monster between us and life. We have endured this, and the situation is only getting worse. In my childhood memories, the wall separated me from my school, my friends, and even my dreams. We would hear the sounds of bombs and gunfire and watch soldiers enter our town at any moment, spreading fear and destruction. The nights were dark and terrifying, and we would huddle together, trying to find safety in the embrace of our family. I remember those days when I used to go to school. The path was filled with dangers. We crossed the checkpoints carrying our heavy bags of books, along with the heavy burden of fear in our hearts. We studied under olive trees when schools were closed or besieged. We drew hope on paper and wrote about the freedom we dreamed of, but our dreams collided with the reality of occupation and walls. What hurts me the most are the memories of my friends who I lost, those who were arrested or killed. Their laughter filled the air, and their simple games would make us forget our painful reality, even for a moment. We played and sang, dreaming of a better world, but that world was not meant for us. We felt deprived of our childhood, of our right to joy and innocence. Today, as I recall those memories, I feel pain and longing. Pain for what we have endured, and longing for the days when, despite everything, we lived with hearts filled with hope. I learned many things from those difficult days, the meaning of resilience and dignity, and that love can bloom even in the harshest conditions. The same challenges remain, but I believe that those experiences made me who I am today. They made me stronger, more committed to freedom and justice. I will continue to dream and work for a better future for everyone living under this oppression and occupation. This is my story, the story of a human who grew up in the West Bank under occupation but never lost hope. My story is the story of many who lived through those days, and we hope that the sun of justice will rise soon. Thank you.
Don't tell my mother that I have gone blind. She sees me, but I cannot see her. I smile and pretend at the visitation window when she wants to show me pictures of my siblings, friends, and neighbors. She doesn't know that I've become blind after the disease spread through my eyes until darkness enveloped my entire body. Don't tell her that I've been waiting for years for a cornea transplant, but the prison administration keeps delaying and procrastinating, bringing my eyes closer to complete darkness. Don't tell her that the shrapnel from bullets and shells that hit me still decorates my body, that my left leg was amputated and replaced with a plastic one, that my right leg has become infected and dried up, devoid of life. Don't tell my mother about the losing of the prisoners' senses from their primary elements, condemned to only see iron and ash, with no bright light or horse to saddle hope and prolong anticipation. Lie to her and tell her that I am alive and well, and that I can see, walk, run, play, jump, write, and read, carrying my pain on my crutches. Don't tell her that I can't sleep, that I live on painkillers until my body becomes numb, that I feel my way around and bump into the iron bunk bed and the cellmate sleeping next to me, who wakes up and helps me reach the bathroom. Wakefulness hurts me, and sleep does not come. Don't tell my mother that gunpowder entered my eyes on that bloody day in the streets of the camp, that they sniped me until my leg flew off and blood poured from my vision. Tell her, if my dream is not enough, I have a heroic longing that never leaves me, and from you I have my language and my symbols on the walls, scraping away my pain whenever the light fades around me. Tell her that I follow your prayers to a cloud in my hand, hoping to return to my home after my body has become tight on me, and perhaps I will come back, or maybe I won't. But I left the door open, and I choose to stand close to your heart as if I had chosen my future. Don't tell my mother that the prisons have turned into places for planting disease, gradually dissolving bodies until the prisons have become testing grounds for the living who will soon die. Don't tell her that I've memorized all the strange names of ailments and the bizarre medicines and painkillers that I swallow. Tell her I'm still 3 doors away from home, getting closer every time a bird flies and fire ignites in my eyes, and the wire stings me between my ribs and the 5 prayers. Oh God, free them and grant them patience and solace.
Palestine. Today isn't the first time we've been here demanding that Turner Contemporary not only break their silence, but also meet our 3 other demands as outlined in the leaflets being passed out, which have a QR code, because we fancy like that, linking to our open letter, once again, currently at 500 plus signatures. Amongst these are local, national, and international artists and cultural workers, including Mark Leckie, Turner Prize winner, and an artist who's had a solo show here, right in this gallery. Evan Ifakoya, Brian Eno, Jeet Dyle, the White Pube, who couldn't be with us today, but they really want to support us, and they've sent in a voice note, which Tom, he's around here, he's filming. Tom, he'll be introducing them in a little bit to tell you why they're important and what they mean to him and why they're important in the art world. And then we'll be playing their message so everyone can hear it, loud and clear. And Larry Achiampong, who had his first major solo exhibition here at Turner Contemporary in 2022, a solo show, and who is here today to stand with us. Give it up for Larry. So please add your name to the open letter. We're going to be hearing from Larry in a little bit, but first I have a few other things to say. The 14th of December, 2023, 69 days into the ongoing genocide, I sent an email to the director of Turner Contemporary asking to break the silence and clearly show the institution's support for the Palestinian people by projecting the Palestinian flag onto the facade of this building, just like they did for Ukraine, and to make a statement in support of Palestine. No response. 12th of January 2024, 98 days into the ongoing genocide, we, as Stand Up for Palestine, sent an open letter to the director with our demands. No response. 4th of May, 211 days into this ongoing genocide, we organized an action just outside here, just outside the Turner Contemporary. No response. 7th May, 214 days into the ongoing genocide, we sent the open letter for a second time to the director of the gallery. No response. 24th May, 231 days into the ongoing genocide, we did a rally just outside of here during the private view for the patrons of the gallery for the current exhibition. Still no response. 12th of June, 250 days into the ongoing genocide, we organized a march through Margate, culminating here, again, right in front of the gallery. No response. Today, 15th of June, it is now 253 days into the ongoing genocide. So Turner, tell us why.
You say zip on genocide.
Turner, tell us why.
You say zip on genocide.
Turner, tell us why.
You say zip on genocide.
There seems to be a consortium of complicity between Turner Contemporary, Tracy Emin, Carl Friedman Gallery, Open School East, Arts Education Exchange, and many other local art galleries and cultural and community platforms. All, yes, talk art. We are angry, but sometimes we like to joke. All of whom have chosen to sit on the fence. They've chosen to sit this one out. They were there to post their little black squares. They were there for Ukraine. They're always there when they organize an exhibition about protest or resistance or Black Lives Matter or women's voices matter. Well, they don't, do they? We're here to ask Turner Contemporary and all other arts organizations and artists in Margate, why are you still silent? We cannot allow fear of speaking up to lead to the normalization of genocide and ethnic cleansing. An artist's duty is to reflect the times they are living in. That's not me that says it, although that is my mantra as well. This is Nina Simone, one of my favorite persons. An artist's duty is to reflect the times they are living in. So today, there's a special day in Margate organized by Yamo. I think they're called Yamo Go, Yamo Lates, I don't really know. It's slated as an art and culture day by the sea with free drinks at each of the 5 stops. Turner Contemporary is one of these stops. And if they complete this challenge of 5 galleries, they get a goodie bag. Are you kidding me? It's so hypocritical. Maybe the goodie bags have a set of balls. Or at the very least a heart to help you to stand up and speak out against genocide. And a spine, yeah. This didn't start on October 7th, with the current ongoing genocide being live streamed in front of our eyes. Or do you prefer to keep yours shut? Ahmed Faiz was a Pakistani poet and author of Punjabi and Urdu literature. He was censored and forced into exile for writing and speaking against injustice and an authoritarian state oppressing his people. I want to share just one of his short poems written in Beirut in 1980. It's called Palestini Shuhada Jo Pardes Mein Kam Aaye, which translates as Palestinian martyrs who were slain in foreign lands. Please join me by repeating after me. When I go out in the world, beloved land, the pain of your abasement inflames my heart. But there are rewards, your dignity enhances mine. Your love walks with me. Your citrus grows, fragrance my mouth. Friends I've never met, go with me.
Planet for Palestine. This is Zarina from the White.
Their hands I've never clasped make mine invincible. Far away on indifferent foreign highways, or in unfamiliar streets of alien cities, wherever I unfurl the banner of my blood, there waves Palestine's flag.
is Palestine's flag.
Enemies have destroyed one Palestine.
Enemies have destroyed one Palestine.
But my agony has given birth to countless Palestines.
My agony has given birth to countless Palestines.
Okay, thank you. Every day is a fight for freedom for Palestine, because every day is a day to fight for freedom for all. Palestine Zindabad, free Palestine now, end the occupation now. Okay, so like I said earlier, we are very honored to have Larry Achiampong, once again, who had his first major solo show here. Please give him a big round of applause.
Thank you very much, Dipesh, my brother. I'm not going to be too long on the mic. I don't want to kind of like hog this space, but I just want to take a moment to thank you personally for inviting me out here to talk about these very important issues which have continued to be silent here at Turner. They've been silent also across the art scene, and I will say, as a cultural maker, as a practitioner, as somebody who, maybe it sounds perhaps naive to say that I felt in doing some of the things that we do as artists, that we have a voice and we can make changes by saying some of the things that we say. And that's some of the things I was thinking about when I made the show that showcased here 2 years ago. But further to the point, the silence of around 6 months since the letter came through to Turner Contemporary has been far too much. Yes. And also across the art scene as well. Yes. Not just institutions, not just curators and practitioners, but artists themselves as well. People I know. I'm going to be honest with you, I've lost relationships as a result of the position that I stand. But I come here to you humbled. Seeing yourselves coming out here with such a bravery, because that is what it is. Privilege or no privilege. There is a bravery to come out here to stand and to be counted. I was told in the, a few months back when people were posting things, be quiet, don't say anything. It may affect your career. I don't want to swear in front of the kids here, but screw that. Yeah. So Turner Contemporary, we ain't going nowhere.
I just want to start by saying you guys make me proud to live here. Honestly, I'm just so grateful that I live in a town with such cool people. So, the first thing that I want to point out is that if you go to the Turner Contemporary's website, they have written, "We stand in solidarity with the fight for racial justice, and we understand the importance of being an anti-racist organisation." Something doesn't add up here. How can you be both anti-racist and remain silent during an ethnic cleansing? Maybe they should consider removing that sentence from their website. Back in 2022, when Russia illegally invaded Ukraine, Turner Contemporary swiftly showed solidarity with the people of Ukraine, and they even projected the colours of their flag onto their building. You would have thought, if the Turner was so worried about illegal invasions, that Palestine would be a top priority for them. Yeah. You'd be surprised. And also, I've been thinking about this a lot. Every year during Pride, the Turner projects the rainbow colours onto its building, which is great, that's all good. But what about the Palestinian quiz? Does the Turner celebrate them? Does the Turner speak out when they're killed? I don't know if the Turner got the memo, but there is no pride in genocide.
Yes!
And one more thing, and I wasn't planning on saying this just happened. As I was waiting for this to start, I was browsing the gift shop, and I found this gift card, and I bought it from the shelf over there.
Ooh.
That is bizarre. I don't even have words for that. I'm on it. I don't know what to say. I don't know what to say. This is perverse.
Is that art washing? Is that what they call it?
Shame on you! Take it off the shelf until you make a statement in support of the Palestinian people and the ongoing genocide against them.
So as you can see, there is a lot of hypocrisy coming from the Turner Contemporary. Which leads me on to my next speaker, our next speaker. Zarina Mohammed is one half of the White Pube. And the White Pube have been calling out this exact kind of art world hypocrisy since 2015. Zarina couldn't be here in person today, but she wanted to be here in spirit. So she sent us a voice note to play. The White Pube is the collaborative identity of two art critics, Gabrielle de la Puente and Zarina Mohammed. They are some of my all-time biggest inspirations. I remember discovering their writing in 2018. I was an exploited intern at the Victoria Mirror Gallery, and they were some of the only critics daring to call out the hypocrisy and the corruption at the top of the art world. They taught me that you can exist in the art world without sucking up to those in power. I'm going to read you a short excerpt of something the White Pube wrote in 2018, which really resonated with me at the time, but also sums up the Turner Contemporary. At the top of a mountain are all the middle-class white people, holding onto their director and executive position jobs so tightly that their knuckles are as white as their faces and their pubes. The art that surrounds them up there is uncreative, repetitive, and often harmful. You can check out the White Pube's writing at thewhitepube.co.uk. Also, they have a book coming out in October. It's called Poor Artists. I have already pre-ordered my copy, and I recommend you pre-order a copy too. The White Pube have been a constant source of inspiration for me. In fact, I don't think I'd be here doing what I'm doing today if it wasn't for them. So I feel incredibly honored to be introducing Zarina's voice note. And on behalf of Fan It for Palestine, I want to say a huge thank you to Zarina for taking the time to write and record this speech. Let's listen to the voice note.
Hello to you, Fan It for Palestine. This is Zarina from the White Pube speaking, and if you don't know what that is, then hi, I'm a random girl at one show. Hi. I'm sending this as a voice note because I can't be there in person, even though I wish I could, because I really wish I could, because I'm kind of in awe of what you're up to down there in Margate. I really am. I'll start by putting that all into words. I think it is batshit crazy and bonkers that galleries and museums receive public money, that is money from the government, who in turn get their money from us, the ordinary citizens and taxpayers. Like, that money goes from us to HMRC or to the lottery, to the government, to these galleries and museums, and then they have the cheek, the audacity, the brass fucking neck to turn around to us and act like we're rude plebs for asking them to listen to us. That's all wrong. That's wonky, really. Those institutions belong to us. They aren't apart from us. They aren't above us or looking down, telling us what to do. They don't set a tone for us to abide by. They are accountable to us. So, the fact that since the 7th of October we've seen all these cultural institutions say absolutely nothing, when artists across the industry are sticking their heads above the parapet, putting their necks on the line, when artists are facing censure, blacklisting, public flack, when artists are turning down funding and opportunities from huge philanthropic bodies like Outset because of that cultural boycott, as an aside, Google strike outset. And when art workers, curators, writers, front of house staff, like the good people who literally run these institutions, the ones who run the ticket desk, invigilate the space, guide visitors around, work in the cafe, clean the floors, secure the doors, and all of that, when they face being sacked, or at the very least face disciplinary action for speaking out, it really makes me think, well, why the fuck is the institution telling us to shut up in the first place? Who are they to tell us what to do? They wouldn't run without us, without our labour, without our work, without us cleaning the floors and securing the doors and manning the ticket desk and serving coffee and cake in the cafe, without us organising their exhibitions and making the fucking work to put in the fucking exhibition, or writing about the exhibition so members of the public outside know that it's worth their time to actually come in. Like, without us, what would they actually have left? You know? So, why not just turn around to them? If they wouldn't work without us, why not just turn around to them and say, actually, I think you need to listen to us now? Like, of course. Cool. Good. I'm glad you're saying that. I'm speaking to you from London. It's a Friday afternoon, Friday evening. It's 5 p.m. I'm still in the office. What is time? But last night, on Thursday night, down in New Cross, south of the river, the kids over at Goldsmiths opened their degree show, and along with it, they opened an exhibition of work by Palestinian artists in the Goldsmiths CCA building. Goldsmiths CCA is interesting because they're like, the kids down in Goldsmiths are like fucking occupying it, like they're in there 24/7, because the gallery, CCA, lists as a major funder. They have a whole wing of the gallery named after them. This couple called Zach and Candida Gertler. Candida Gertler is the founder and director of Outset Contemporary Art Fund, that huge philanthropic funding body that gives money to arts organisations and directly to artists in the absence of public funding, of which I hear there is less and less nowadays. But the Gertlers are also like busy mates with Benjamin Netanyahu. They hosted his 70th birthday at their home in Tel Aviv. They donated to his political campaign. They donated to organisations that forcibly appropriate land from Palestinians in the West Bank. It's really fucked. So fucked. Google strike outset. But that's why the kids down in Goldsmiths are occupying CCA. And the kids at CSM, the art school I went to, they're occupying the reception until CSM are transparent about their investments and their financial interests. And I mean, students in universities across the country are occupying their campuses. Like, I was up in Newcastle recently, and there's an occupation up there. Literally any UK university, I'm absolutely sure, most of them, nearly all have some kind of student occupation going on right now. It's really cool to see, and it makes me so emotional because, like, fuck, the kids are so cool. But in London, I don't know why, but this level of action you've got down in Margate, that just hasn't happened yet. We've not taken that step and asked, say, the Tate to come clean and list out all the financial interests, all the donations of money or artworks that are tied up with arms dealers like the Zabadoviches, or settlers and Netanyahu's mates like Outset. Half of them haven't even come out and called for a ceasefire, despite the fact that they were very keen to light themselves up blue and yellow for Ukraine, like I hear Turner Contemporary work. None of that. So I really, honestly, I look at you in Margate and it is really emotional. I'm in awe. I want to say thank you. Thank you for coming out. Thank you for signing the open letter. Thank you for writing the open letter and for writing the demands. Thank you for organising and fucking off the weird assumption that these institutions, for some reason, the assumption that they are looking down and telling us what to do. They don't set the tone. They don't decide where the line is for what is acceptable and what is not. We do. You do. We all do. Yes. Not them. And what you're doing in your campaign and what you're doing today is a powerful reminder of that. So from me, the humble art critic, thank you. And all the best, all the power to your elbows, because from the river to the sea, Palestine will be free. Thank you.
Yeah, so that's big. Let's big it up again for the White Pube and also Larry Achiampong. Sometimes we're here in Margate, our small town, and sometimes, honestly, we wonder what we're doing is having any effect at all when we're met by silence. People ignoring us, people looking at us funny. Just right now, there's an example of a gentleman. So this really means a lot that you've all turned up. It really means a lot that you've all stopped and you're listening. Thank you very much.
Join our circle. We're going to leave together. You can join us for some chants. Turner will be back. We'll be back until you say something. And I think we wouldn't need to be back until Palestine is free. Turner will come back and come back stronger. We'll come back. We'll keep coming back until you say something, until you open your doors to Palestinian artists, and until you acknowledge and look into some of the links that you have. We'll be back time and time again. We are the people and cultural workers of Margate and of this country, and we demand to be listened to. Free Palestine! We will stay together, we will lead together.